Welcome to Brand Bank Build, the podcast about how to build a strong and sustainable finance and marketing mindset to grow your business.
I'm Tara, and I'll talk about all things branding and marketing.
And I'm Karen, and I'll talk about all things finance and money related. We'll overlap because we both have insights about how to grow a strong business, and together we have over 25 years growing and advising businesses.
Yes, let's get into today's episode.
And just before we jump in, Tara, I'm just going to hold you there because the information shared in this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only. Should not be considered legal, tax, accounting, or financial advice. Always consult with a qualified professional before making any decisions about your business.
Yes, and today's episode is so exciting for me. This is my kind of money mindset thing. I could talk about this forever. We are talking about newsletter sequences. And the reason I love sequences so much is because it makes your life easy, and that's what we're going to talk about today. This episode is so timely because I see people on LinkedIn with a lead magnet in their featured posts, but they're not sending emails to their list. And I'm seeing a bunch of really, really cool people launching a newsletter, and I don't think they're setting it up as a sequence. And using a sequence, like I'm going to explain today, is a game changer. Karen, are you sending a newsletter to your list?
I knew you were going to ask me that. And just as you were speaking through, I was like, guilty. I don't send anything. Yeah. And I have a very small email list because I have lead magnets that I haven't told anyone about. And I have,
Yes, we all do.
I have Active Campaign, right? Like I use it to send out welcome emails to courses and everything that I have. And I have it set up, as per your guidance. I have like a main list and a customer list, and it's all in there. I don't say anything to anyone on there. So I don't have a newsletter. I don't send them anything. So yeah, this is 100% an episode for me while I'm here hosting. So this is definitely Tara's area of expertise because I have not got this set up in any way. I have a lot of opinions about it and a lot of hesitations on it. So hopefully we go through some of that today.
Yes, for sure. And I do too, because I'll be honest, like I've been running my business for 12 years. I'm tired. You're tired. Like we've all got so much stuff going on. We have to be present on LinkedIn all the time. We're serving our clients. We're managing all this stuff. There's a lot. And so when I come in and say, Karen, why aren't you sending a newsletter? You're like, dude, I'm doing a lot already. And I get that.
Yeah.
Yes. And that is why I love sequences so much, because it's a completely different way to send a newsletter. Because the typical way we send a newsletter is we sit down on Friday and we write whatever's coming to our head on Friday, and we send it out on Friday to the people who are on our list that day. So if you have 20 subscribers or 100 subscribers, all of those people are going to get your email on Friday. But if somebody signs up for your newsletter on Monday, they missed that information that you sent on Friday.
Right.
That's the typical way to do it. And for me, that's a waste. You had a brilliant idea on Friday, and the people who sign up Monday don't get to hear that idea. But when you set up your newsletter as a sequence instead, everybody gets all of that great content, because it doesn't matter when you sit down at your desk and type it out. Everyone's going to receive it at some point.
Okay. And I hang on for a second here, Tara, because I just want to be clear on what you're saying, because as I'm gonna not even act, but I'm gonna be the person that doesn't know anything on this podcast today, and it's very accurate. But explain to me then what you mean by setting up a sequence. Like how is that different from me sitting down and writing out an email on a Friday and sending it out? Like I didn't even know you could set up a sequence for a newsletter.
Yep, exactly. So the way the sequence works is they sign up for your lead magnet,
right?
that you deliver the lead magnet. And then you send another email maybe 3 days later that says, welcome, thanks for joining my list. Here's a little more about me. And then you pop another email in that sequence. And maybe that email is a testimonial of a previous client. And then you add another email to the sequence maybe a week later. And it's a high value email or it's an invitation to work with you, whatever it is. And then you add another week delay, and then you add another email to your sequence.
Okay, so
And this is a high value.
this sounds similar to, when I sell one of my courses, I have like a welcome email, and then there's some actions that I need to do, and then I get them to follow up. So is this what you would call in like ActiveCampaign like an automation?
Yes, exactly. Sometimes it's an automation, it's a nurture sequence, a funnel. It's a funnel.
Is
It's
this
a welcome sequence.
different terminology that's used across marketing or across platforms?
Across platforms. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Got
in ActiveCampaign, it's an automation. In ConvertKit, I think it's a sequence. Yeah, so they're all going to use similar language.
Okay.
So I'm going to call it a sequence, but it's an automated list of emails that goes out. So each time you write an email, you add a delay of maybe 2 weeks, and then you add your email.
Awesome.
And then you add,
Okay.
then you add a delay and add your email.
Okay. I come back to my like finance formulas in Excel here. Like if they did this, then you do this. And if they did this, you do this. But I think with the sequencing, it's not even that complex. It's just like, it's not even if they didn't open it, send them this. It's just simply, hey, send them this. Then 2 weeks later, send them this. So I love the sound of this. It sounds way more simple than the regular way to do a newsletter.
I know, right? Because with the old way, the regular way of doing newsletters, you have to come up with content every week or every 2 weeks. And you sit down and you're like, oh, I need to write a newsletter. And for me, that's exhausting. Like I can't put that pressure on myself in my business to come up with something brilliant to say every 2 weeks. I might think of something last week. I might think of something next week. But with the sequence, if you write something amazing on LinkedIn and you go, that was a really good post, I want more people to know about that, you just drop it into your sequence. And that way you get to use that content twice. Because Karen, you're putting out really, really good stuff on LinkedIn. And we all know the algorithm is a little wacky.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. That's true.
So if you're building a list, you get to reach those people, and LinkedIn doesn't matter as much. And those people get to see that content. Whatever the algorithm is doing that day doesn't matter because they're going to get that content. They might not get it today. They might get it 2 months after you wrote it. They might get it a year after you wrote it. But that stuff is it's still valuable a year later because we're talking about concepts and ideas and, I don't know, inspiration for things. So as long as you're not doing like timely stuff, the sequence makes sense and it saves you so much time in your business.
Okay, so, and I just want to like break it down and clarify what you're saying because, I'm literally a newbie in this area and this is a very new style to me. No one's ever spoken to me really apart from you.
Yeah.
Sending a newsletter in some kind of sequence form. So you're saying every LinkedIn post I could effectively like reshape that into, well, not everyone, but the ones that aren't necessarily timely or specific to a particular point in time, I could put them in my email sequence. And then, so if someone signs up today, they start on that first email rather than miss all the emails that I sent previously. They start on that first email and they get continual content from me for however long I've stocked it up for there, right? However long I've been doing it. Is that right?
Exactly. That's exactly it. Yeah.
So, because, my immediate objection to sending a newsletter is I just don't have the time, right?
Yeah.
Or
I know.
But
But with this, It saves so much time. So what I would do if I were you is I would block out an hour in your calendar once a month where you go look at your old LinkedIn posts, everything you've posted for the last month, and you skim them and you say, oh, this was a good one. Copy it, paste it in your email program, and add it to your sequence. And then you add a delay of 2 weeks or whatever. You go find another LinkedIn gem and you paste it in your email program 2 weeks later. And you just stock up your email sequence full of those good LinkedIn posts. You're not writing any new content. You might warm up the beginning of a newsletter. Make it a little more like a newsletter, a little bit less like a LinkedIn
Yeah,
post.
of
You
course.
kind of skim it, make sure it makes sense for email. But you just copy and paste that same content. You don't have to come up with anything new for a sequence.
Wow.
Here's the cool thing.
Right.
I once had a sequence of 3 years, which means if you sign up for my newsletter today, you are going to get newsletters from me for 3 years without me generating any new content.
You know, this feels like the new passive income. That's how valuable this is.
Right?
Right? Because
You're welcome.
it's like, you know, when you have a course that's like an online course that people can self-serve through, and the money, like, you know, because I have a few of those and people just buy them, and, you know, then the money just comes in. That
Yeah,
feels like this is, and someone signs up for my newsletter, I don't have to worry about sending a newsletter to them immediately because they've got 3 years worth of content already wrapped up there for them. And I just really need
yep,
I just need to make sure that I'm continuing to add in like a few different items so that I guess the older people on my list need to be nurtured as well. But it's actually
exactly.
it's that almost future proofing, right? Because notoriously, you know, I've supported marketing departments and CRM functions in large organizations. As a principal, over time, it's your older it, people will fall off the list, right? Like
Yeah.
you know, people will
Yeah,
gradually fall off the list, and it's not to say that the people that are on your list for longer are less important, but you know, they might fall off the list. So it's almost like a self-serving cleanup,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah. And I love how you mentioned courses because here's a little magical thing about the sequence. You can be launching your course all the time by just plugging those launch emails into a sequence. So, a lot of times we create a course, we create these sales emails, and we send them out as a newsletter.
Mhm.
But again, only the people who are on your list that day get that launch sequence of emails. But if you drop those into your sequence, you can be constantly launching your passive income course without the energy of a launch because a launch energy feels a little bit heavier. We're trying to sell, we're really putting our energy out there.
Mhm.
But if you just plug it into your sequence, it's always running and it's not taking any of your energy. It's just serving you. It's so cool. So, how that would work is let's say your sequence runs every 2 weeks, but you have a course, something valuable. You've got that Unlock Wealth course.
Yeah.
So you might have 3 emails or 4 emails that you've written that really try to sell that Unlock Wealth course. So what you're going to do is after the last email that you sent 2 weeks ago, you're going to have one sales email, and then you're going to have a delay of 1 day and send your next sales email, and then a delay of 1 day, send your next sales email. And you can filter out the people who have bought the Unlock Wealth course. You can take those out of the sequence. All of the email platforms allow you to do that. You can exclude people who are on a specific list. But basically, you put your launch emails within your sequence. And then when those 4 launch emails are done, you add a delay of 2 weeks and you just get right back into that flow of that valuable content that you've been posting on LinkedIn. So your launch just flows through your sequence and all of a sudden you've got 5 sales, 6 sales, whatever. And you're like, what's going on? How do I have this extra money? And you go, oh, my email sequence is launching this course for me as I'm posting the next month on LinkedIn or whatever it is. It flows through the sequence. It's
Oh,
very cool.
so you can you can switch that up and have it flow through the sequence, but for those specific emails, within the sequence, you can exclude people that have already bought.
Yes.
You don't have to exclude them from the
Yes.
entire sequence, but you can exclude them from. Wow, I hadn't
From
thought of
those
that.
specific ones.
That's really clever because then consistently you can be telling people at different points about these courses.
Yeah.
Obviously, this wouldn't necessarily work for courses that have a time sensitive, like a live version, for example. Like I've had a group program before.
Yep.
And that in itself, I would have to step outside of the sequence and launch that separately, if you will, because I'm starting the course on, say, the 10th of August. People need to sign up by that, and there's live calls. This would be more appropriate
Yes.
for the Unlock Wealth course, for example, that I have, which is self-serving, and people can walk through it at their own pace and time, and it's all already there. So that's really cool. Yeah, great for
Yep.
I guess great for coaches and anyone that's selling online courses.
Yeah, exactly. And so I see a lot of people saying they're sending out their newsletter on Friday, but let's say you've got that timely launch where you have live calls. So you would just send those emails Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so that you're not doubling up on Friday. You just kind of keep in mind, okay, people are hearing from me on Friday. I'm not going to send like the timely newsletter thing on Friday. I'm going to send that on those other days, just so you're not emailing somebody 2 or 3 times in one day. That's not even a downfall of this system. It's just something to keep in the back of your mind.
Well,
Okay, I'm already emailing them from the sequence on Fridays, so I'm not going to email them the launch stuff on Fridays.
oh, got you, because the way you are talking about setting it up, you delay every 2 weeks. So you start it on a Friday, you delay 2 weeks, and then therefore it's let you know that is always going out on Fridays, or
Yep.
particular Fridays. So any other sequence, you can just make sure that it's not double spamming your email list on the same day, because we all love an email, don't we? We're not sick
Yes.
at all, but there's a difference when someone's emailing you like more than twice a day, or more than once a day. It's like, no, this is now at an unacceptable level. I'm more likely I'm gonna churn. I'm gonna drop off.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
I know.
that's a good technique. And I guess, like I've said, because I guess my hesitation when you originally said this to me was really, is this going to cater for some of the timely advice that I want to send out to my newsletters? I guess where I'm thinking is a lot of my LinkedIn content can be timeless, as in it's just important information, but some of it is, talking about specific like events that have happened lately. So that's the type of stuff that I would leave outside of the sequence.
The other thing you could do is, if it's something that people need to know, like I used to support people around technology stuff. And for example, MailerLite or MailChimp upgraded their whole system. And so I had to tell people, hey, MailChimp completely changed everything that you knew yesterday. It's all different. So I plugged that into my sequence, but I left it in there for like 2 months just so that people would get it eventually. And then I took it out of my sequence. So you could do something like that. If you need to tell people about something that's more timely, you can leave it in there for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And then take it out of your sequence. I do like maybe every 6 months, I review my sequence and I make sure that all of those emails still make sense.
Yeah, that's probably an important control to think about, is like, okay, when am I going through this to make sure that it's still relevant? I think that's probably one of the things I'd forget to do. I'd be like, oh, this is amazing, Tara. Thank you. I've got like years and years of content. And maybe some of it seemed timeless at the time of writing and including. And then eventually, maybe just a few months later, it's like, oh, actually that aged real quick. Because there's some things that we just, none of us can tell the future. None of us know how things are going to switch up on us. And that's a really important note for anyone that thinks that they're going to send out a sequence, is to really just make sure that they're reviewing it.
Yes.
Every 6 months to check that it's still relevant.
Yeah. In fact, I should add that to my sequence every 6 months to be like, hey, if you're sending out a sequence, like I told you to, go and check your sequence now and make sure that it makes sense.
Yeah.
And I can add that as a reminder in my own sequence to remind people.
Yeah.
So we talked about like evergreen launches, right? Like plugging your sales email sequence into your normal sequence. But I don't really do courses anymore. I really like to work with people one-on-one, but I'm always launching that as well because I'll send out a really high value email and then in maybe every email, but maybe every other email, I say, P.S. If this was helpful for you, book a call with me. Let's have a talk about how I can help you implement this thing that I just talked about. So I'm kind of always extending an invitation for people to book a call with me and work with me one-on-one as well through that sequence. And again, for me, it's just energy stuff. Like it's heavy to always be trying to sell, and to let my sequence do that for me feels really good.
I get that. I get that entirely. To have it do it for you is like some of the best ways to feel in your business if something's working on its own for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I guess
Karen.
my main one would be I really don't have that many people, right? Like, is there really any point in me? Because this is going to take a little bit of time for me to set up, right? Like, I'm not an active campaign connoisseur. I've been in there. I know vaguely how it works, but I need to, go in, get my LinkedIn content, repurpose that. It's not going to happen immediately. So I need to go in and do that. But is there really any point when I only have like, I don't know, like 10, 15 people sitting in my like email list that I could set up on this?
Yeah, it actually makes more sense for you to do this now. Because if you were sending that like one-time email and you only have 10 people on your list, what a waste of that incredible content. But if you set it up as a sequence instead, you have 10 people today, they get that amazing email. Next month, you're going to have 20 people on your email list. They're all going to get that amazing email. And then the next month, now you're up to 50 people. Now you're up to 100 people. And they all got that original content that you sent to those first 5 or 10 people. Everyone's going to get it eventually. So if you're starting an email newsletter, start with a sequence so that everybody gets all of that great content, regardless of when they sign up for it.
Okay, that actually makes a lot of sense. And I love that you're manifesting these growth numbers for me in my email.
I know, right?
Which, although I know that's not the main topic that we're going to cover today, but, as an expert marketing email list guru, how do I get people on there?
Well, I feel like when you're not sending a newsletter, why would you promote your opt-in gift, your lead magnet?
Hence,
You wouldn't. You don't promote it, right? But when you've set it up like this and you know you're sending people valuable content, now you have an incentive to tell people about your lead magnets and get them to sign up. So you're going to start talking about your lead magnets and you're going to start promoting your email newsletter because you've set it up as a sequence and you know that it's golden.
Okay. So for those, I guess those people in the audience that are brand new to all of this, but, can use this gold to set everything up in the right way, and myself included, put yourself together some kind of lead magnet. Also, make it available for people to sign up to your email list via your website or whatever, like via your LinkedIn or wherever it is. For me, I don't even have that option open to people. Even though I have an email list, it's not like they can just sign up and they don't I don't promote my lead magnets that I have sitting ready to go. 2, I don't actually have like an open thing on my website where people can sign up to my email list because, as you said, I don't actually send them anything. So what incentive? It just gives me more anxiety if I add that to my website, because all of a sudden, all I'm thinking is I'm not sending anything there. They're just I
Yeah.
am the void that is my email list. Like, what's the point of this? It's like I had a Substack for a while and I started it, and like all of a sudden I
Yeah.
started getting all these like people adding me on there because I think I put like one article or something up there. And
Yeah.
every time I got an email saying someone's like joined it, I freaked out because I'm like, I don't have the time for this. I'm not doing this. So I think, yeah, like it makes it feel much better if you know you set it up and you don't have to think about it like every Friday. Um, I
Mhm.
mean, obviously you need to
Yeah.
I would need to update the sequence continually to make sure there's content on there, but it feels much more relaxing because, like, say I started this all now, in 6 months' time, if someone's signing up to my email list, they've got loads of fun emails coming their way. I don't have to do anything about. So that, like, the relief is really coming off my shoulders right now, and I don't even have this set up, but it really makes it sound a lot easier to have some kind of newsletter because I guess the reason I use LinkedIn so much, Tara, to be clear about this, is that because I have clients, people that reach out to me consistently for
Mhm.
CFO services, but they're at different stages of their business. And they then, they might not be at the right stage of their business to need my services. I don't love just chasing up people individually to say, hey, how's the business going? You
Mhm.
know, not are you still interested, but did you want to have a catch up? That also takes up a lot of my time. I do it with particular clients that I know I would be really keen to work with. But
Yeah.
as a whole, what I now rely on is LinkedIn keeping me front and top of everybody's mind, which it does very, very, very well. But an
Yeah.
email list is something that it would automate what I've thought about doing, which is like continually emailing some of those clients to be like, hey, like, saw this, thought it would be relevant to your business, for example, I think
Mhm.
it's a great method. I've always thought about doing a newsletter just as a great method to keep people front of mind, to keep me in someone's mind as a reliable source of information, as someone that's saying valuable stuff. And I have that on LinkedIn, but having it in somebody's email and that list that have actually been interested in my services to begin with, that's a much better space to be able to actually harness. So for me, yeah, I think it could be a real game changer.
Yeah, for sure. And those people who aren't ready to work with you yet are going to get so much value from your newsletter. So you can say to them, hey, it's probably not the right time for us, but sign up for my newsletter, or I'll add you to my newsletter if you want. And you're going to learn a lot. And then when you're ready, you've implemented this stuff that I teach you in my newsletter, you're ready for us to take the next step. You're going to hear from me and we can make that happen for you.
Yeah, exactly. And that's my primary mission is it's not necessarily just to get people to work with me, it's that they get value from what I'm actually putting out there. That's why we do
Yeah.
podcasts. Why
Yes.
I post on LinkedIn as well to keep me front of mind, but also so that they might gain something and they might be able to like implement that into their business. So if I get into their inbox and it's, useful for them to have these systems and stuff in place, it also makes them a much better client if and when they ever decide to work with me on a real basis later down the line. But yeah, it's a great system, I think, to have it automated in that way that you're talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're right. When they are ready to work with you, they know your style, they've been reading your stuff, they've been learning from you. So it's an easy yes. It's just about working out the details of onboarding and how you start working together because they're primed and ready to go.
Okay. And so, how about now? I'm sitting here with like over a year's worth of LinkedIn content, with like at least a few months of that being 6 posts a week.
Yeah.
Not everyone in our audience
Yeah.
has that level of content. Content might be something that's, difficult for them to come up with. Do you have any ideas of how to brainstorm or how to like start with what information you should be putting out in your newsletter?
Yep. And this is something that, and I should have mentioned this before, it's something that I work with people one-on-one. I set it up for you or with you because you're like, okay, this is blowing my mind a little bit. I'm not an expert on ActiveCampaign or ConvertKit or whatever. Yeah, I can set it up with you and brainstorm that content with you and for you. I love brainstorming content, creating content calendars. It's so fun. You can see me lighting up. I mean, it just is so fun for me.
Like, I want to share something with the audience is secretly, I mean, we probably shouldn't say this, but this is how real businesses operate. Me and Tara catch up every month to talk content. We literally speak through our content strategy for this very podcast every month. And that ties into what we do for our businesses also. But we do that, and we do that why? Because we love to brainstorm content. And Tara is spectacular at planning this out. Yeah.
It's so fun for me. Here's my tip for coming up with ideas for content. It's called a 50 things list. So you set a timer for 10 minutes and you write a list of 50 things you could talk about, and you just keep writing. The rule is you can't set your pen down, you can't stop writing. So you might get stuck somewhere. You write 10 great ideas and then you're like, I can't think of another idea. I just don't have another idea. Write something ridiculous like kittens or turtles or something. Like, you just write something silly that you're never going to write a newsletter about. And your brain goes, no, not kittens, but this other thing. And then you'll come up with another idea and then you can keep going. So the idea is you just keep the pen flowing and you come up with a list of 50 things that you could possibly send a newsletter about. And then you go through and you scratch off the ones that you don't care about. And then you've got enough of a content calendar that you could post maybe 2 or 3 times a week on LinkedIn. And that's going to give you, 6 months worth of content for a newsletter. If you're posting 2 or 3 times on LinkedIn and you repurpose all of that content into your newsletter, you've got 6 months ready to go.
I love that. I love the list and just having that kind of timer and just writing it all down. I think that's kind of how I started pulling all together my list of ideas for LinkedIn when I allowed myself to do it. Now I have an existing list that I just add things into when they come up, usually on calls with you or calls with people. Or like, hang on a minute, I'm just going to go and write this in my Notion board because that's a good idea for a post. But I guess for some people that are really starting out, one thing I will add to what Tara says is just think about the questions that your audience have. Think about the problem that they're trying to solve. And then think around that when you're trying to think about what you can say. I would also ask, because I have like a bit of a no boundaries policy with LinkedIn. I'll talk about anything on LinkedIn. Would that apply to my newsletter, or should I be keeping it very relevant to like what my audience wants and what they need from me?
Well, you do have to stick to your lane. So as a CFO, you can't write about essential oils because they didn't sign up for a newsletter about essential oils.
Got you. So you have to bear in mind I guess a little bit of the GDPR stuff and what they've signed up for. So I need to be a bit more specific in my newsletter than I care to sometimes be on LinkedIn, where that's good for me to know, and also I guess for the rest of the audience to be aware of, is when you're writing that list of 50 things, it should be 50 things that are appropriate for your audience, or talking from your expert point of view, your experience, case studies that you've seen, things that will benefit the people that are on that list, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. You just have to think about, what did they sign up for? They signed up to hear from me about marketing. So I'm not going to tell them about teaching my cats to communicate using buttons because it's not relevant to marketing. I could twist it around and make it relevant to marketing.
What?
But You just have to keep it relevant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. That's a
Mhm.
really good note. So,
Yeah.
and just to kind of circle back because I got distracted with the list of things to do. You actually
Yeah.
offer this as a service.
I do. Yeah. I mean, we can set this up in a power hour. 1 hour with me, we're going to set up the sequence. Because I've done it so many times, it just comes so naturally to me. We're going to set that up. I'm going to give you a little bit of homework. You're going to collect a testimonial. You're going to write a sales email. I'll guide you through all of that. But in that 1 hour, we can set up the beginning of your sequence and I'll show you how it works so that you can keep doing it. You just go in, copy from LinkedIn, paste it in there, and I'll show you how the system works so that it's easy for you. That's my goal, is to make this easy for you so that you do it, because I know how powerful it is. Like when I see people launching their newsletter, my first comment is, I really hope you set this up as a sequence because you're brilliant and I want you to be sending it as a sequence.
Yeah. You should respond to every newsletter you get and say that exact thing. And they'll be like, oh,
I know.
no, I haven't. I
Yeah.
mean, the fact that you can offer that for just like a power hour with you is
Mhm.
that's really impressive to me because all I can think, like my immediate hesitation with this, is I am so busy.
Mhm. Yep.
Yet. And
Mhm.
when am I going to have, a lot of what I do is hold people accountable to stuff. And that's why we have the coaching sessions. And, we've worked through, you've helped me with so much already. And we've done that just through calls, which I found
Yep.
impressive. So I know that this would be amazing too. But to be able to actually get it all set up just within like an hour call, obviously you wouldn't have all of the content and stuff there already, but to get the bare bones sort of set up and the functioning set up, because that
Mhm.
is that is the thing that I would sit and stare at my laptop for a solid day.
No, no, no.
But like I'm being honest with you because I've done this and I
No.
want to I'm going to be honest with everyone listening on the podcast. Like I am not a marketing implementation expert. I can talk marketing strategy. I know a lot of stuff, but the reason that we have Tara on here is I'm not also a finance and marketing expert. And when I've set up campaigns or automations or things in Active Campaign, it takes me a long time. Like, I sit there and
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh my gosh." Like, once I have it down, it's okay, but I guess that's why you, Tara, can literally help people
Yep.
back this up in an hour because and it's not
Yep.
I would say in my experience, it's not that easy to do, like, straight off the bat as the first thing that you're doing if you've not used one of these softwares and stuff before. It's easy to just send out
Exactly.
an email. It's
Yeah, that's
relatively
true.
I mean, I say relatively easy in comparison to setting up a sequence, because setting up a sequence to me is a bit more daunting. If I'm being
Mm.
honest as a layman, as someone that's not fully and I've set up a couple. So, I've set up a
Yeah.
couple, but they have, like, 3 emails in them. So it's not doesn't feel
Yeah.
overwhelming, doesn't feel that to me, setting up, like, a sequence that I can then repeat and continue feels way more overwhelming. So to be able to do it in like an hour, like get the bare bones sort of set up with you it would almost eliminate the biggest hesitation that I have. So yeah, like we're probably gonna do that at some point.
Good. Let's do it. That's so good to know because for me, like once you get it set up, it's so easy. And I totally agree with you. It is that initial, like, how do I even start this?
Sure.
Which is why I would do it with you. And so during that session, we're going to set up the tech side of it. We're going to set up those first emails so that you'll see how easy it is for you to go forward. So I'm just going to set it up so that it's like effortless for you to keep going forward. And I'll encourage you to plug it into your calendar to go check on it once a month and stock it up with new content. And that's it. Then you're full of content and people are going to get those emails in their sequence.
Yeah. I love it. I absolutely adore it. So we will drop you'll have a link or something in the
Yep.
episode so that people, if they do want to work with you on this, definitely I'll be using it, but I know how to get in touch with you directly anyway. But for anyone in the audience that's willing to actually get this set up and wants the fast track in order to do that, we'll get this link available to you in the podcast. So is there anything, I guess, to round off, is there anything else that we need to be thinking about when we're setting up the sequence for our newsletter?
Yes. Okay, I'm going to give you one more tip, and this is a lifesaver. Okay, it feels a little bit confusing now, but what you want to do is put a delay at the end of your sequence of about 500 days, a delay, and then one more email, because if you ever don't go and stock up your newsletter sequence and somebody reaches the end, they're not going to keep getting the emails in your sequence. So you put a delay of like 500 days, and then you keep stacking your emails within that sequence.
Before the 500 days.
Before the 500 days.
And
so that nobody ever reaches the end.
Right. And so, but what is in the email if they did reach the end? Is it like, tell me that you've reached the end of my sequence, or?
No. I mean, you should put some kind of like valuable email in the end just in case.
Like, you've got to level 5 million. Like, well done.
Yeah, exactly. You rescued the princess, whatever.
Yeah. Like, you reached the end of the part. Yeah, I think that would be, like, it would be like, if you're receiving this email, something has happened to me, because at some point this business is now null and void, because that, like, there was no other email. Okay, so like, but that 500 comes after every one, so it's gonna continually elongate every time you add to your
Yes, exactly that. I learned this the hard way because people reached the end of my sequence and I didn't know. And so the placeholder email got sent and it said, start with a great subject line and add amazing content. And people replied to that email. They were like, great idea, Tara. And I was like, oh no, that wasn't supposed to go out.
So why did they?
So I learned
Was it a particularly engaging email, or were they aware that it was like your placeholder thing?
No, they didn't know, but like that placeholder email was just the default text in ConvertKit. That's the subject line was start with a great subject line. And then the body was and add amazing content. And people wrote me back and they were like, good idea. And I'm like, no, that's not a good idea. This was a massive fail on my part. So I learned the hard way to add that delay of 500 days to the end of my sequence, and then you stock it up inside that delay.
Okay, that's a really, really, really good tip. And it's like, I feel like that's the one that you usually learn by experience, and not in the best way. So the fact that you're sharing that level of secrets on this, it makes it invaluable. So thank you for sharing this experience with us so that we know not to do that. I hadn't even thought about that. To have that like 500 days, and there's no particular reason for 500 days, just it's just the chat.
Just any.
Like, I would put a really comedic email. Like, this is how I operate. I would put such a comedic email as that last email. Be like, hey, if you're receiving this, like, civilization has stopped. Like one of those stream emails, or like an AED thing. So like, oh, A, my business is dead. B, civilization is over, and like The Walking Dead has come true. C, could come back and get us all, or D, I just gave up. Like something to let me know that you're at this position, and then engage power to get in touch with me. Be like, oh, or like I became too big of a celebrity that I just gave up on this email list. Right.
Yeah.
Please email me and let me know which one.
Which one happened? Or Karen, your call to action should be that they email me so that I can tell you that you ended your
I
You
love
quit your
that.
sequence.
It's like, please email Tara to resurrect this dead email list. I do apologize for any inconvenience caused, but it's surely like it's like my next of business kin. Can you please email them? Because
Yes.
I'm concerned as to like why you've received this email. Because the only explanations I possibly have are yes, that like civilization is over. I've died somehow,
Right.
something like that extreme has happened. That's the only way you get to the end of this email list. Please email my next of
Yes.
kin in business, Taryn, and tell her that I've failed. Like something has happened to me.
Exactly. Yes.
Like that's, I guess, to me, that's how that's that's the reaction I would want when someone gets an email and it would be quite a powerful headline, like you've reached the end of this email list.
Yeah. I think, yeah.
Because most people don't have it set
No.
up as a sequence. So they don't
And you
have
shouldn't receive that email because that means something
I
went wrong.
know. I
Something
know.
went terribly
There's
wrong.
something mischievous in me that wants to have that someone actually receive that email at some point. But
It
also,
means they didn't listen to the end of this podcast. So
yeah.
otherwise, they would have known to keep up their sequence and to add this padding of 500 days.
Yeah. Like for me, the comedic effect email is really because I know like it would be very embarrassing if that landed in somebody's inbox, but at least I would know, I would be reminded, or you would get told about it. So I went awkward.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that 5-day
Nice.
rule is a really good rule to apply. And you can put whatever you want in that email that's going to make you keep consistent with building that.
Yes. The motivation to not let people get that email. That's why they should tell me.
Beware, anyone that does the power hour, Tara, know that she's going to say that. She's going to say, like, let's put this in now. This is to hold you accountable to actually using this email sequence.
Yes.
Like, because the thing is, it's 500 days, right? That's like a year and a half. If you start this, like you have the power hour with Tara, you set it up, and all of a sudden you don't actually do anything on it, then in like a year and a half, Tara receives an email.
Yeah.
We're going to be on you.
I'm going to hound you.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. The brand takeaway is all about consistency. You want to set up your brand to be consistently in front of people, right? That's the point of marketing, is showing up consistently in their inbox. And the sequence allows you to do that. That is our brand takeaway.
Yeah. And our bank takeaway is that you can bank the value of your content that you're already putting out there. And you're banking it for years to come for new subscribers that sign up to your list as of today.
I love that. And build your business in a way that serves your clients and makes it easy for you to keep going.
Yeah. Also, build your email list.
There you go.
Yeah.
Build your email list.
2 builds today.
Yes. Love it. Thank you, Karen. This was so fun. I hope everybody sets up a sequence. Please, please do. Do it with me. Do it yourself. Just do it.
Well, I'm going to have to go and put time in to get this done now. So thank you so much for the insights, Tara. This is definitely one of your specialist subjects, and I hope has created a lot of inspiration and value to everyone in the audience today. If it has, or you have questions, please do drop some comments, let us know, and we will chat with you on our next episode of Brand Bank Build.
Bye.
Bye.